So guys, in the previous video, you had requested to make video on the essential written test pattern or the test preparation for each and every section like aptitude, reasoning, technical, MCQs, etc. So here it is. So in this video, we'll be discussing about essential technical MCQ questions and answers 2021. So in the next video, we'll be discussing about some of the other sections like aptitude, reasoning, or the coding sections, etc. So before discussing further, if you are new to our channel, then please subscribe and press the bell icon for more job updates or the videos regarding the off-campus drive preparation, etc. So, and also I am requesting all of you to share your interview or the off-campus drive experience with us so that the other viewers will get benefited and will be able to help or serve you all better or more effectively. To share your recent interview experience with us, please ping us at the helpfultechniques@gmail.com with your name and company name for which you want to share your interview experience with us. So I'll be putting this email address in the description of this video so that you'll be able to mail you or ping us more easily. So it may be the off-campus written test or the interview like technical interview or HR interview, whatever. So I'm requesting all of you to please support us and please let us help you more effectively. So now let's discuss about some of the frequently asked technical MCQ questions and the answers. So this is the first question. We need to find the output of the following program or the code. So I'm requesting all of you to first pause this video for 10 seconds or 15 seconds. Try to solve this question or this programming question by yourself. If you are able to find this output, then it's very good. Otherwise, you can follow us or follow our solution. So anyways, we'll be explaining it to you about the output and how you'll be able to get this output. So I'm requesting all of you to please pause this video for 10 seconds. So now let's discuss about the solution. So this is the C programming question, has include stdio.h etc. void f. So this is the function. So inside this function we have declared this is the local variable integer I, static integer. So as we have not initialized the value of I, that means it will by default it will consider the garbage value or the default value, that means 0. So we need to print the value of I, and again here we are calling this function f. So 3 times we are calling this function, first, second and third time. So what will be the output? So whenever we are calling this function, it will simply print the value of I. So here you can see it's a pre-decrement operator. So what does the pre-decrement increment operator does? Firstly, it will increment the value of I and it will initialize, then only it will print. So initially the value of I was 0. So first of all, whenever we are calling this function for the first time, simply it will increment the value of I to 1. Then again we are calling. So previously the value of I was 1. So whenever we are calling this function again for the second time, the value of I will be increment to 2. Then again for the third time, when we are calling this function again, the third time the value of the I will be increment. So the output will be 1, 2, 3. So here you can see answer will be 1, 2, 3. So I hope or I guess everyone was able to solve this. This is the one of the easiest question, but still most of the candidates or the viewers may face difficulties because you are simply calling the function f. So most of the candidates or the people has doubt on the function. So it is one of the easiest programming question. So now let's move to the second question. So a single line comment in C language source code can begin with dash. So what will be the answer? C, double slash, forward slash. So you might have seen that most of the coders or while coding the comment lines, you simply type this one, but it is only for the multi-line comment. So as we are discussing about single line comment, so we need to forward slashes. So whenever we are using or we are going to do the multi-line comment, you need to use this one at the beginning and at the end of the line or at the end of the comment. So let's move on to the third question. So what of the following statement can be used to free the allocated memory in C? Vanish variable name. So these are the by default or the default or the inbuilt functions that we used to remove or to free the space or the allocated memory in C only. So remove variable name, erase variable name, and the free variable name. So the answer will be free variable name, because the vanish variable name or the erase variable name function is not there in the C. These are not there in C. These are the you can say keywords that we have mentioned here in order to make you confuse more. So the library function free deallocates the memory allocated by calloc, malloc, or the realloc. So these are the functions that we used in C in order to allocate some memory in C. So in order to reallocate, or you can say in order to remove the allocated memory, you need to use free concept of free function in order to remove or the free some of the allocated space. So now let's move to the fourth question. So please again pause this video and try to solve by yourself. So what are the output of the following program? So again CM programming question again. So we have here initialized the value of I1 while we are incrementing or using while statement here and printing the value of I plus plus. So this is the post increment operator. So I think or I guess most of the candidates have idea about the pre decrement or the post increment and the decrement operators. So here we need to print the incremented value of I. So what will be the output? Any guess? So here we are using while statement. So if you notice carefully, we are not using the while statement properly. So it is a empty statement, you can say while condition. It's a while empty while condition, because the bracket is not yet started here. We have not started the bracket, and also there is a semicolon. That means we are ending the while statement or while condition. So each time the while I value of the I value will be incremented. So firstly it was 1, then again it will come inside the I condition. Here you can see firstly it was 1 less than equal to 10. Yes, so simply it will increment the value, but it will not print or do any operation because it's a empty while loop. So it will come outside the while loop and while condition. So you can see we are printing the value of I. So what will be the value of I? Simply 2. Again it will go back and again check 2 is less than 10 equal to 10. Yes, 2 is less than equal to 10. Again it will come out to the outside the while condition. Again it will print, simply print. So each and every time it will be printing, it will checking the value of I, but we are printing this value outside the while condition. So that means that simply it will print the value of I only once, because we are not putting this inside a, we are not putting this print statement inside a bracket. Here if you remove the semicolon and start a bracket here, sorry, if we start a bracket here and keep the print statement inside the bracket, it will simply print the value of I for the 10 times, 1 2 3 4 up to 10. But as here the value of I is not there inside the while statement or inside a loop or inside a condition if statement, etc., so it will simply print the final value. So the answer will be 11. So there is an empty statement as you discussed earlier following while, as the parenthesis of the while statement is missing. So that's why it will be printing the value of I only once. So now let's move to the fifth question. So what will be the output of the following program? Again CMCQ. So this is the character. So C++ we are storing this inside a S, sorry. So you need to print S. It will simply print, but here you can see we have added S++. That means we are incrementing the character value, or the, you can say, the array value. So print, we need to again print. So it will simply throw an error, compilation error or the compile time error, because here S refers to the constant value, because this is the address of the S. So if you want to increment the address, it will not possible, because if we mention here, if we simply type S0 or 1 plus plus, then it will simply do the increment. But if you are trying to increment the constant address, because we can't do the increment of an address of an array or string, etc., it will not be possible in C or Java or any other programming language. So you can do this operation. So it will simply throw in compilation or the compile time error. So I hope you get a clear idea about this. So now let's discuss about the sixth question. So to print a double value with format specifier can be, which format specifier can be used? Percentile LF. So only the lowercase or the percentile LF lowercase is allowed. So if you see, the capital letter LF is there, but only the small letter is allowed. That means it is case sensitive. Yeah. Then the seventh question. So what is the output of this program? So any guess? So let me tell you. So percentage star f function, it is the function integer. We have initialized the value of x equal to 5. Then we are returning the address of x. So here, if you see carefully, we are printing the star or the value of function, but it is not possible. So it will simply throw an runtime error, because it is invalid to return the local variable address, as the local variable gets removed after the compilation or after the function ends. So here is the explanation. So we can't print the address or the variable address, as the local variable gets removed after the function execution is completed. So after once we are completed the execution of the function, we can print the value of the function or the address of the function. So now let's discuss about the eighth question. So what will the output of the following program? So again, so here is the integer I equal to 2, we have initialized. So integer I equal to 4, j equal to 5. So inside this function we are printing the value of I and j, and again outside of this we are printing again the value of I and j. So if you see carefully, here I equal to 2 is the global variable, and here I equal to 4 is the local variable. So whenever we are calling a variable inside a function, then it will simply call the local variable first, or it will give the much priority or the preferences to the local variable if it exists. So then, so here what will happen? So the value of I will be replaced by 4. Instead of getting the output as 2, we'll be getting the output as 4. So simply it will print 4 and 5, and for the outside print statement you'll be getting 2, because it's outside of this function. So it will simply call the local variable, because global variable, sorry, because the value or the scope of the local variable is only inside the block. So outside this block we can't access the local variable, so it will simply fetch the value of the global variable. So it will simply print 2 and 5. So what will be the output? 4, 5, 2 and 5. So it will simply first print the inner value of the function and then print the outer value of the function. So as we discussed earlier. So then again find the output. So please try to solve by yourself. So then you can unpause this video to check whether you have guessed true or false. So this is the Java question or the Java programming question. So public class, the class name is a public static void main string argument. Then if true, then break. So if true, that means inside this if condition we are passing a true statement like 10 is greater than 3 or 5, etc. Then break, we are using the break statement. So what will happen? It will print 0 or error or nothing or none of these above. So it will simply throw an error because here we have used the break statement or the break keyword after the if statement or inside the if block. So remember one thing, so if we can't use break or continue inside a if statement. So if you see carefully or read this explanation, break statement can only be used with the loop or switch. So using the break inside the if statement cause the break outside switch or the loop error. So it will simply throw this error or exception, you can say. So we can't use the break statement or break keyword inside the if condition or after the if condition. So I hope you get a clear idea about this. So now let's move to the 10th question. So what is used to find and fix the bugs in the Java program? So it's JDB, because the Java debugger or the JDB or the JDB is a command line Java debugger that debugs the Java class. So this is the subjective question. So now, in which process a local variable has the same name as one of the instance variable? Serialization or the variable shadowing or the abstraction or the multi-threading? So answer is the variable shadowing, because whenever we are using the local variable, so the with the same variable as of the instance variable has, so the value of the local variable will be the value of the instance variable will be replaced with the local variable. So that means here, as we discussed earlier, here, so suppose this is the instance variable and this is the, in the C, the instance variable is also called as the global variable. So here I is called as the instance variable. For the instance, you can say I is the instance variable, and here this is the local variable. So whenever you are using this concept having the same name, here you can see both has the same name, so the value of I will be replaced with 4. That means it's a shadowing problem it is creating. So inside a function or inside a block, if you are calling or using the same variable name as of the instance variable has, then the value will be replaced. So this concept is called as the shadowing problem, variable shadowing. So now let's move to the 12th question. So what will be the output of the following program? So public static void main string arguments for integer I equal to 0 true. So we are passing a true condition, like most of the time we use like I less than equal to 10, I less than equal to 100 if you want to print the 100 statements or do operation with 100 statements or 100 numbers or the variables, etc. So we are passing the true statement, not the false statement. That means it will simply enter to the for condition or the for loop. I plus plus, we are increment the value of I. So what will be it printing? So system dot output hello and break. So as we see here, we are passing only one true statement only for once. So what will happen? It will simply print hello for the single time, not for the multiple time. Because what will happen? Suppose we are, instead of typing or printing true, suppose we are want to mention it I less than equal to 3. What will happen? After 3 times it will simply print hello hello hello. 3 times it will print. But here we are only mentioning true for once. That means only once it will print hello. For the next time again it will visit I equal to again I equal to 1, because you have incremented the value of I here. That means 1. So 1 less than equal to 2. What it will check? It will not be able to check whether it is true or false, because we are checking only once true. So that means only for the once it will print hello. So now 13th question. So find the syntax error in the below code without modifying the logic. So this is the C programming question. Integer main float x equal to 1.3. Switch case we are using case 1 print the choice is 1.3 break default printf invalid choice break. So what will be the output, or we can say what is the modification in the logic, or what are the things we need to change in order to compile this successfully. So if you see or notice carefully, we have initialized the value of x equal to 1.3. So in the case of switch case, we can't use the fractional numbers, or you can say the decimal points like numbers like 1.3, 1.5, 10.6, etc. So it will not work because case 1 up to this point, the case statement or the switch case will happen or run or the execute. So suppose here we are putting 1.3. So case 1 it's true. Then it will check to the case 2, not to the 1.3, because it is not there. So we can use 1.3 or 1.5, 1.6, 1.8. There are infinite numbers are there between 1 to 2. If you know in mathematics, we have this type of concept between 1 to 2. There are infinite numbers are there. So we can check each and every for the infinite loop. So it will simply go to the infinite loop. So after case 1, there must be the case 2 or the default. So we can't pass 1.3. So most of the time candidates will ignore this part. Yeah, we have initialized this one. So what is the error? There is no error. So it will simply they print, it will simply print the invalid choice because here it is 1.3. No, we can't initialize the value of a variable 1.3 or 1.5 for the switch case. So simply you need to put 1 or any other thing if you want to execute this query or this programming, this type of code. As you discussed earlier, the expression used in switch must be integral type. That means integer, character, or enum. The other type expression like floating point, etc., are not allowed. So now let's move to the second question. So the find the syntax error in the below code with modifying the logic again. So you can see properly. So we are using two for loop, two inner for loop you can say. So for the first for loop, it's fine. For the second for loop, if you see carefully, we are using a semicolon here for the second loop, and again we are printing something, then again we are printing in order to move to the execution to the second line. That means we are using we want to print the this thing in the second line or in a new line. So what is the error? I have provided some hint here. So we are using semicolon here, but what is the error in this line? Any guess? So whenever we are wanted to start or begin or print a our output in a new line, you need to put the backward slash, not the forward slash. So here you can see properly or carefully we are using the backward slash. So this is the correct answer here. And also you must not use the semicolon after the for loop. It will create the compilation error or the runtime error. And also here we need to put the backward slash. So most of the time candidates ignore this problem or this concept because they might be thinking, yeah, it's right, it's correct. But these are the silly mistakes we often do. So that's why this is the trickiest question you can say. So most of the time this type of questions will be getting in Accenture or other any Cognizant or TCS, etc. So these are the trickiest questions or the syntax errors. So these are minor things that cause a big problem or issue. So you must be using the backward slash. So this is the explanation here. So what of the following is not a Java feature? Dynamic, user pointer, architecture neutral, and the object oriented. So it's dynamic, it's true. It's architecture neutral or the platform neutral. That means in any platform we can simply code and execute it irrespective of the platform we are using. And the object oriented, yeah, it's object oriented obviously. And user pointer, no, the user pointer in Java is not allowed. So it is there in C and C++. There is no such type of concept of pointers in Java. So it's false or not true. So now let's move to the second question or the last question. So which of the following is true about the anonymous inner class? So it has only method, objects cannot be created for the inner class. It has a fixed class and it has no class name. So according to the definition of the inner or the anonymous, according to the name of the anonymous class, there must not have any class name provided for the anonymous class. So that means the option or the answer will be option D. So anonymous inner class are the same at the local class except they don't have any class name or the name. So this is the correct answer for this question. So this is all about the most frequently on the trickiest questions ever. Silly questions. These are the silly questions, but always we commit this type of errors like 1.3 case, switch case, or forward backslash, etc. So I hope you get a clear idea about this for 16 questions. So apart from this, you can practice other questions as well. So if you have any doubts regarding these questions or any other interview process, etc., you can comment your doubts in the comment section below so that we'll be able to help you as soon as possible. So thank you for watching and all the best for your job search.